Mubarak Ramadan. In today's episode, we have another application of Newton's three laws of motion. How do we compute the force applied horizontally on two crates with different masses connected by a light rope? The two crates accelerate on a frictionless surface. To find out, just get indulged, watch and learn. The problem is two crates, one with mass 4.00 kilogram and the other with mass 6.00 kilogram, sit on a frictionless surface of a frozen pond connected by a light rope as shown in figure 1. A woman wearing golf shoes for traction pulls horizontally on the 6.00 kilogram crate with a force F that gives the crate an acceleration of 2.50 meters per second squared. Question letter A. What is the acceleration of the 4.00 kilogram crate? Question letter B. Draw a free body diagram for the 4.00 kilogram crate. Use that diagram and Newton's second law to find the tension capital T in the rope that connects the two crates. Question letter C. Draw a free body diagram for the 6.00 kilogram crate. What is the direction of the net force on the 6.00 kilogram crate? Which is larger in magnitude? Tension T or force F? And question letter D. Use part C in Newton's second law to calculate the magnitude of force F. We are given the mass of each crate. Crate 1 has 4.00 kilogram and crate 2 has 6.00 kilogram. Crate 2 is directly pulled by the woman with a horizontal force capital F that gives crate 2 an acceleration of 2.50 meters per second squared. We have our target variables. In part A, the acceleration of crate number 1. This is denoted by small letter a sub 1. In part B, we have the free body diagram for the 4.00 kilogram crate and the tension force capital T in the light rope that connects the two crates. And in part C, we're also required to give the direction of the net force on the 6.00 kilogram crate and we need to figure out which between the two forces, the tension force capital T and the applied force F, is larger in magnitude. And finally, in part D, we are required to calculate the magnitude of the force capital F. Moving on to our solutions, we first show the pre-body diagram for crate number 1. So we represent crate number 1 here as just a dot or a particle. So while accelerating on a horizontal frictionless surface, the rope is pulling it with a tension force capital T sub 1, represented by this blue arrow directed to the right. Okay, we do not include in this diagram the supposedly vertical forces, the two vertical forces acting on crate number 1. The upward force being the normal force exerted by the surface on the crate. All right, that's the red arrow. And the downward gravitational force or the weight of crate number 1. Okay, because these two forces have equal magnitude but exactly opposite in directions. So, in accordance with Newton's first law of motion or the law of equilibrium, their vector sum equals 0. All right? So, these two forces, we say, have no direct effect on the motion of, or the horizontal motion of crate number 1. Right? And specifically answering question number or in letter A, what is the acceleration of crate number 1, right? We say that the acceleration of crate number 1 is just the same or equal to the acceleration of the 6.00 kilogram crate or crate number 2. The reason is that if you refer back to our figure 1, all right, the two crates are connected by a light rope. All right. So it is as if the two crates, crate 1 and crate 2, are interacting with each other. All right. We consider T sub 1 as the force exerted by crate number 2. All right. Exerted on crate number 1. In other words, crate 2 is pulling crate number 1 to the right. And then, at the same time, crate number 1 is also pulling crate number 2 to the left, right? So in a little while, we'll also show the pre-body diagram for crate number 2. So, since the acceleration of crate number 2 is already given in the question, that will also be the acceleration of crate number 1 or A sub 1 is also equal to 2.50 meters per second squared as given in the question, right? And in part B, we are asked to give the magnitude of the tension force T1. All right. So, since this is the only net force acting on crate number 1, all right, we say that it is already considered the net force. All right. The net force that tends to accelerate crate number 1 also in the same direction as the net force. In applying Newton's second law of motion, all right, net force being the product of the mass and the acceleration, we say that in getting the magnitude of the tension force T sub 1, we just multiply the mass of crate number 1, which is 4.00 kilogram, multiplied by its acceleration, 2.50 meters per second squared, which is, of course, equal to 10.0 newtons in three significant figures. All right? And since T sub 1 is the same tension force that is within the rope itself, all right, the tension in the rope being denoted here by capital T. So we say that the tension capital T is also equal to 10.0 Newton. The free body diagram for crate number 2, right? Just like in the case of crate number 1, we also represent crate number 2 as a dot or a particle. And just like in the case of crate number 1, we also do not include here anymore the two vertical forces since they both cancel out each other. But along the horizontal, we have the two horizontal forces, such as the pulling force exerted by the woman on crate number 2, and is denoted here by the vector arrow pointing to the right, the red arrow, right? And of course, the force exerted by the rope denoted by T sub 2. But this T sub 2, as mentioned earlier, is also equal to T sub 1, the two tension forces being action-reaction pair of forces. So T sub 2 is also, or may also be considered, the force exerted by crate number 1 on crate number 2. And if you notice, the length of the two arrows are not the same, right? Vector arrow for the force F is a little bit longer than the length of the arrow representing T sub 2. This is to emphasize that the net force acting on crate 2 is directed to the right, whichever has the longer length, all right? Assuming these arrows are drawn to correct scale, we can already infer that the force F must be greater in magnitude compared to T sub 2. And that brings us to question letter C, right? Which is asking for the direction of the net force acting on crate number 2, all right? The net force on crate number 2 being the vector sum of F and T sub 2, or that is F net number 2 equals F minus T sub 2, all right? So, in terms of magnitude, we also say that the magnitude of the force F is greater than the magnitude of the tension force T. In computing for the magnitude of force F, all right, we go back to this equation, applying the second law of motion. F net number 2 equals capital F minus T sub 2. All right, so we're considering here the net force acting on crate number 2. All right, but we already know the value or the amount of the tension force T2. All right, so we just equate it to the product of the mass of crate 2 and its acceleration A2. That is, F equals 6.00 kilogram multiplied by its acceleration 2.50 meter per second squared, and then plus 10.0 newtons. This is the amount of the tension force. All right? So, doing our math, we get the magnitude of the force F equal to 25.0 newtons, also expressed in three significant figures. All right. There is another method, all right, where we do not have to include the tension force in our equation. This is by treating the two crates as a two-body system, right? So when treated as a system, this will be our equation or the second law of motion. The net force acting on the system okay, which is nothing but the force F. All right, since the surface is a frictionless surface, this is the only force that is considered the net force acting on the system. So we just equate it to the product of the two masses m1 and m2 and the acceleration a. This is considered the acceleration of the system. That is, F equals 10.00 kilogram, which is the sum of 4.00 and 6.00 kilograms, and then multiplied by the acceleration of the system, 2.50 meter per second squared. So we get the same answer. Force F equals 25.0 Newton. Right? Take note that in considering the two crates as a system, the two tension forces T1 and T2, okay, do not appear in our equation. All right? This is because, as far as the system is concerned, the tension force in the string, all right, is considered an internal force that is within the system. So this equation only considers the external force acting on the system, which does not include the tension force in the string. All right? While the first method that we applied here also assumes that we already know the tension force uh, of the string, right? The solution to that, of course, has already been explained earlier. So in this method, we just look at the net force acting on crate number 2. All right? Just crate number 2. We cannot use crate number 1 to determine the force F, inasmuch as the force F is not directly acted on or acting on crate number 1. Right? But if you wanted a quick solution or way of determining the force F without necessarily having to determine the tension force T, then this second method is more preferred. So on that note, let me say mabuhay until the next episode. MashaAllah. Thank you very much for your indulgence. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Alhamdulillah.